And welcome, everybody. A special edition of the Buford House of Cards. As you can tell, I'm a little under the weather. Voice has not come back all the way yet. My name is Mike Covert. I'm the host here of Beaufort County's House of Cards. Let's do a couple of quick things here. Glad to have you all with us. Again, this is a special edition. This is being obviously being taped. It will come out later on this afternoon. And tonight we have one show that will be coming in our normal times. This is due, as the headline said, due to some recent events. Decided to put this out here, so it's not going to be as long as our regular shows, but hopefully just as informative. And as always, we ask that hopefully you have been to the radio station, and that is www.bigpatriotradio.com. That's bigpatriotradio.com. 24/7, take a listen to that station. We've got blues, news, country, pop, and classic rock, along with 4 days, soon to be 5, but 4 days of podcasts. Monday at 6, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. in the evening. You'll hear podcasts from the Overton Report, Talk One Radio, the Jeff Zapp Show, and that's very long things is going to be. Well, we'll just leave that up. We'll announce that as soon as all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. As usual, if you'd like to help support the show, both the radio station and Beaufort's House of Cards, which is powered by United Digital Promotions. Go to what you see on the screen there, patreon.com/Beaufort House of Cards. Take a look at that. If you'd like to make a donation, a contribution, join in, become part of the family, we'd love to have you. Have some giveaways to be sent out to those folks, so pay attention to the different messages there. And as always, we appreciate you, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and because of some of the recent events that are happening, as a matter of fact, we are going to be, because the other show you're going to see tonight has been trimmed. It was trimmed by YouTube. The censorship is real. So we will be moving more towards Rumble and Getter. Those are going to be the two avenues of platforms we'll be able to put this out. And then in the future, with advertising and things like that, watching the show is free. Putting it on is not by any stretch. But in the future, we hope to be able to have our own platform where we don't have to rely on a sublet. And we'll only rely on them for advertising, but we'll be able to put our shows on our own platform, such as Rumble or Getter or what have you. It will be part of the Big Patriot.
Introducing to you.
You're on House of Cards, live on Facebook and YouTube.
It's going down now.
Locked and loaded with the truth.
So the two main things that we want to talk about this afternoon, or tonight, whenever you're watching. The first one is something that happened over in northern Beaufort County, happened on Monday evening at the Beaufort County Council meeting. I believe last week, I don't know, being sick, I kind of forgot here and there what's going on, but no, it's the show you'll see tonight, rather. We taped part of the Beaufort County Council meeting, and we're going to show that tonight on the regular House of Cards show. But we wanted to go into it a little more detail here, and that is the I don't know what you want to call it, the recent sale, the recent discovery or announcement, however you want to look at it, of the Pine Island property over on St. Helena. To give you some backup data, Pine Island is a waterfront property. It has 7.5 miles of waterfront on St. Helena Island. It is deep in history, rich in history in the Gullah Geechee community, as well as farming. Has a lot of historical landmarks and so forth on there. Back in 2022, a group came to county council and said, "Hey, we want to buy this property, but we want to rezone it. We want to get it rezoned." And as usual, they would, people will come and say, "Look, I'm not going to buy it unless I can get it rezoned to do this." Same thing applied there. "Hey, we want to buy this, but we want to get it rezoned to be able to do X, Y, and Z." Well, the Gullah Geechee community, St. Helena landowners, folks, the farmers, Ladies Island folks, people from really all over the county had a complete shit fit over this. What they wanted to do, they wanted to have 2 or 3 18-hole golf courses, something like that. 2 that I know of, and abhorrent amount of homes, all high-end homes, and I'm sure it would have been first class. They wanted a ridiculous amount of docking, deep water docking. But in my opinion, and most, they were taking no regard to they were taking no regard to the water, the stormwater possibility. They showed up in force to county council, to the committees, to county council in general. County council, and specifically Councilwoman Alice Howard, had said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to back up. We're going to say timeout. We're not going to push this forward. We hear you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll not take this up due to the CPO, which is like an overlay district regulations, until sometime later, not before mid-April." Well, the majority of folks, including me, they said what they said and pretty well dismissed anything moving on. It is March 16th today, so Monday was whatever, the 13th or something, 12th, 13th. This gentleman shows up at county council, and he puts it on the list to have public. His or is Elvio Trapanero. He wasn't speaking about anything on the agenda, and as Chairman Passman has been doing, if you don't have anything to speak about on the agenda, you go to the tail end of public comment after the business of tonight is done. Well, last Monday, Chairman Passman went against the rules and said, as a matter of fact, he said, this guy doesn't want to talk about anything on the agenda, but in the event of moving right along, we're going to let him talk. Wouldn't do that for anybody else. I can guarantee that. But he did for Elvio Trapanero. And as you listen to this, you'll figure out why, I'm sure. So Mr. Trapanero begins to speak, tells everybody that he new owner of number 1 St. Helenaville Road, which is Pine Island Plantation, or whatever it is, Pine Island on St. Helena. He explains to folks that are watching and on the dais that he is such a good guy. He is he even said, "I know you all are interested to hear what I have to say. And finally, you can see the mystery developer," is what he called himself. The mystery developer. That's the tie. That's the key to the previous request right there. Okay. So Mr. Trapiano obviously is not as intelligent as maybe he's leading on or made Chairman Passman and County Administrator Greenway believe. So anyway, he goes into telling them what Stewart is, what an environmentalist he is. And by the way, he goes to tell that he has a full team of archaeologists and historians and scientists and architects and engineers and lawyers. And he says, "My team and I will serve this community well, but we're going to do even more. We're going to get even better," he said. He also said that, I know you know what I can do already on this property. I know you know I can build X amount of docks. I think he said 60, which is ridiculous, but 60. And don't quote me on that. Go back and watch it for yourself. He says, I know you know I can build X amount of homes already by whatever the property is zoned as. And I want to say again, maybe it's the medicine, but I think he said something like 100. Which, if it's 500 acres, 100 houses, with the stormwater needs and all the other things, that's not a far fetch. But I want to do more, and I want to do better, and we're going to make this property bigger and better. So he ended his speech and went back to his seat. The next gentleman up, I don't remember his name. He was against this, and he gave his very short speech. It was futile. That was it. They moved on. Now, a couple of things happened here. First one is, obviously, and someone may say, well, how do you know obviously? Well, I know because I've been in that environment. I have been on county council. I've been in those back rooms. I've been in the administration rooms. I know how this works. This was not new news to the chairman or to the vice chairman, and possibly not to Alice Howard. I don't know. I know it's not new news to the county administrator nor the county attorney's office, because as the Post and Courier even reported 2 days later, they had been meeting about this, crafting something that would work. All of them. What I take away from this and the problem that we bring this about today, well, first of all, let me say this. As a conservative, one has the ultimate right to do with your property as you see fit, as long as it doesn't affect others or a detriment to someone else. The glory to you can affect someone else's abysmal life. You can't do that. But how does that affect here? That affects here because all of a sudden, the history of St. Helena Island, the history of the Gullah Geechee people, the history of Beaufort County is about to be changed forever. You cannot get that back. You cannot get that back. Obviously, they found a way to skirt the system. Obviously, they're hoping that no one like me or others stands up and says something. We've made it loud and clear here. Platforms and that are going to be dotting the highway out there. This cannot continue to happen on two different fronts. One, the county still has to approve permitting and things like that for this gentleman. Now, this gentleman is not a developer, even though he says he was the mystery developer. He is no developer. He's as much a developer as my dog Beauregard. He works on Wall Street, and I've checked him out. He hangs with the Bloombergs, the Rockefellers. There is no caviar this fella has probably not tasted. It would make perfect sense that this group, and he didn't buy it, by the way. It was purchased by a group, an LLC, which we will look into. He said he would purchase this, and $18 million is what he said. Develop it, sell it, and could make a substantial windfall. And I don't begrudge him of that. What I do not want to see is the community be raped, and that's what's going to happen. I don't want to see the environment be raped, and that's going to happen. I don't want to see history be stopped, and that's what's going to happen. So I've reached out to several folks in the State House. One is a state rep that handles that area, was not aware of this. Send him the tape. He can do whatever he wants. I reached out to several people in the Gullah Geechee community throughout the county. A couple knew of it. Several did not know about this and were adamantly, at least to me, adamantly encouraged, as they should be. I want to see you folks, if you're concerned, if this is something that is on your heart, that this in your mind, that this is not how we need to be doing business, say something. You see it, you see something, now say something. At the same time, county council leadership, Chairman Passamet, if the vice chairman McKellen was involved, if Councilwoman Howard was involved, they need to know this is not acceptable. County administration needs to know this is not acceptable. Working behind the scenes on behalf of the citizens of this county who spoke out against this from happening, they gave them the ultimate middle finger. That's what I spoke to Representative. I said, your people, your constituents, your heritage just got the great big middle finger from Elvio Trapanero, the Wall Street hedge fund manager, all because of the dollar. What did Chairman Passamet get out of this? I'm not alleging anything. I'm asking, what did the county get out of this? Why did they do this? What's the benefit? What recap? Those are questions that need to be answered. They need to be answered, but I guarantee you folks, you can put this in the bank, if you will. They will try to escape any conversation with that. I reached out to Tony Kuklik of the Post and Courier. And I said, hey, first of all, the guy's not a developer. He's a man. He's like, well, that doesn't matter. I was like, you're missing the point. It's a lie begetting a lie begetting a lie. The snowball of lies. You saw it with Murdoch, for example. Here we go again. Here's another snowball of lies. Why did the county agree to this? Why did the county craft documents that he may be able to put 3 6-hole golf courses on this property? From what I'm reading, he may be able to. They won't let him put an 18-hole golf course, but he can't put 3 6-hole golf courses. We're not stupid people. We need to let our elected officials know we're not going to be kept in the dark any longer. We're not stupid. We're not dumb. If you want to represent us and you have the majority of the vote, then don't bullshit us. Don't lie to us. And when you do, we're going to get rid of you. Nothing personal. It's just business. Comptroller General now he is going to be removed. They told him recently, we'd like for you to step down. And he said, no, completely inadequate. He's incompetent. Now they're going to get rid of him. Same situation. Different scale, same situation. Misappropriation of office. Misappropriation possibly of tax dollars, public tax dollars. Possibly. Don't know it. This cannot continue to occur. And it's a shame that it occurred on the back of men and women who were brought to this country 99.9% against their will, who did nothing, who farmed the king cotton, the Sea Island cotton, the best cotton outside of India. King cotton, hailed from St. Helena in its beginning. These people farmed indigo that made this place a money pit. These same people have descendants today farm that land. and have gotten the big middle finger from Beaufort County Council and Beaufort County. It's a big shame.
Locked and loaded.
Let's go.
Big Patriot Radio. Blues,
All right.
news, country pop, and classic rock.
The other item, we had told you we had two. So the other item has to do with what happened just 2 nights ago at Bluffton City Hall here in Bluffton, South Carolina. There was a town council meeting, and this tape is also it's out there. I put it out there everywhere, clips of it. Here's a synopsis of what happened. So going into public comment session, it's funny, both stories have to do with that. Local government critic Skip Hoagland stood up, said he wanted to, actually, I take that back. Young lady stood up, said that she wanted to give her 3 minutes through a power of attorney to Skip Hoagland. And that it went downhill from there. The mayor said no. They argued back and forth. The town manager got involved. The town attorney got involved. It was a back and forth for ad nauseum for minutes. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. Back and forth. The temperature was going up. It escalated to the point where the town manager and since Mayor Sulko chairs the meeting, I mean, she runs the meeting, so it's both of them, gave the order for the chief of police and the police officers to remove him being Skip Hoagland, from the meeting. So lo and behold, Chief Joe Babkowitz and I don't know, 3 or 4 of his deputies or officers came down there and went hands-on with Mr. Hoagland. Eventually, however it happened, Mr. Hoagland was wrestled to the floor. He did get up. He was injured from pictures that I saw. He was taken outside, and eventually he was given a citation. Now, that's what happened. The reason I bring this up is because we all saw this coming. We all saw this coming. Now, there's been plenty of people commenting on Facebook and Twitter and so forth that he's pushing the envelope. He shouldn't have done that. He was acting out of hand. Okay. All right. Hold that thought. Now, everybody has their methods. And I have been very, very upfront for years that I don't subscribe or prescribe to his methods that he uses. That's his choice. The verse or the message, however, generally he's right. Generally he's been right. The way he gives it, that's his business. I don't prescribe to that, but that's his business. So it all stems from a rule that all body politics have. They have done for a long time, the rules and protocols for public speaking, which is fine. You need to have rules. You need to have protocols. However, and this needs to be made perfectly clear, your body politic rules and protocols do not and cannot trump federal constitutional laws and civil rights laws. It doesn't matter what those rules say. If they violate federal civil rights laws and federal constitutional laws, they're not worth the paper they're written on. Case in point, if you want to limit people to 3 minutes of speaking, that's perfectly fine. If to have an orderly meeting that flows, there's no problem that you have it in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever you come up with, that's perfectly fine. But if you said only fat people can talk, you can't do that. If you said only people of a certain color can talk, you can't do that. If you say, I don't like you, you can't talk. You can't do that. If you say, well, you're not a citizen of this town, you can't talk. You can't do that. A public person, a citizen of this country's right to speak freely, the freedom of speech, your First Amendment right, precedes and precludes everything. You have to abide by the rules of the flow. Limiting your right to speech is not one of those. We have power of attorneys in this country. That's a legal and binding document. A local body politic does not have the authority to say a power of attorney is not acceptable. They don't have that authority. Local body politics need to understand that your rules and your protocols are not laws. You can create an ordinance, but those aren't laws. Laws are created in the General Assembly. There's a huge difference. This is more of people running the farm that don't know how to farm. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that, in my opinion, putting hands on is a bridge too far. Mayor Solka had to know she would be faced with this. Mayor Perry in Hilton Head was faced with it. He knew somebody got to him, or he's smart enough to know you don't go hands on. You can stop the meeting if you so decide, work something out and come back. That's, whatever. You can't limit someone's ability to speak, and you cannot remove them if they have not broken the law. Mayor Solka went too far, in my opinion. I think we'll see plenty of lawsuits from this. I wouldn't be shocked if Bluffton's name is changed to Hoaglandville after this. That was an egregious move by the mayor. The delivery, I agree. That's not how I do business. I'll put it in your face, but I don't do business that way. But the message, he's right. The message, he is right. So we'll see what goes on with that. I've had some emails today from folks that you can't be supporting him. He's creating. Wait a minute. That's all superfluous. That's all superfluous. It doesn't matter what you think. It's what the law says. And just because the town of Bluffton or the town of Hilton Head or Beaufort County says we're not going to allow your power, that doesn't make it law. Now, I'll have to say this, and I haven't seen the power of attorney. I don't know that. Attorney Terry Finger the other night said the power of attorney that he presented is inadequate. It's wrong. It's not following a power of attorney procedure per state law. Maybe that's true. And if that's true, then bad on the young lady or just Mr. Hoagland for not presenting the proper documentation. And that should have been held. This is not proper. Bring it back and we'll carry forward. I get it. Totally get it. But if it was proper, they overstepped civil rights laws and they overstepped the Constitution. If it wasn't proper, again, let me reiterate that. If the power of attorney was not proper, then bad on, like I said, the young lady or Mr. Hoagland. You need to come with the proper documentation. That is on you. But for a police force to put hands on a citizen, regardless of a 77-year-old citizen, regardless of that, just to put hands on a citizen for this, take them to the ground, that's too far. I'm a huge supporter of law enforcement, always have been, always will be. I have family in law enforcement. I support the blue more than most people know. Only a few know why I say that. I'm involved with law enforcement more than you know. But this was too far. If I were the chief, which I'm glad I'm not, but if I were, I would be seeking legal assistance right now to your ass. Someone will take the fall for this. My personal opinions, which don't mean jack shit, it won't be the mayor. She'll make sure someone takes the fall for this. I hope this all gets worked out, and there's no lawsuits, and everybody's happy and so forth. But I don't know that that'll happen. I don't know that that'll happen. We're at a strange place in this country on both sides of any matter, a very strange place. As a former elected official, you have to be able to sit there and take the heat. You have to be able to sit there and be told, I don't like what you did. You have to be able to sit there and unfortunately hear things you don't like, and they may not be true. And most of the time, at least from what I heard, a large amount of time, it wasn't true. You're a scumbag. You have to be able to hear that. You have to be able to take that. If you can't handle someone calling you a scumbag, politics is not your game. If you can't handle someone saying you're not holding up your campaign promises, whether you are or not, and that's very offensive, we take that very seriously because that hurts. If you can't handle that, you need to get out of this game. I think we saw the other night someone that needs to get out of this game. Something has happened over a period of time. They need to get out of this game. To Councilman Wood, great fella, love him like a brother. And you're not a citizen of the town to vote. I mean, I'm sorry, a right to speak. That is so not true, Mr. Wood. That is an egregious attempt overstepping the Constitution and our civil rights. It doesn't matter where someone lives. They have a right to speak in front of a body politic. I encourage all town councils, county councils to do an in-service, have an in-service, bring in constitutional lawyers. Don't bring in your county lawyer or your county attorney or your town lawyer because they are going to do what you want them to do. They work for you. Go somewhere else. Bring someone else in. Bring a constitutional lawyer in. Bring in a federal lawyer that understands this stuff because obviously no one here really understands it. I have reached out to those folks. I have listened to them. This is what needs to happen before someone, and it may be too late now, before someone is sued that sticks. When you start talking about federal lawsuits, not personal lawsuits or civil lawsuits, federal lawsuits, that's a whole nother ball of wax. We may have seen